Okay, it is Thursday, November 17th. Your Rich County Board of Commissioners are back in session. Commissioner Tony Vero, joined by Commissioners Banks and Mears. Our clerk, Stacy Crawl, County Administrator Andrew Keller, the wonderful ladies of the clerk's office, Helen and Lynn. And I do believe we have Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp in the media land.
Alan Carl.
Alan Carl from the media are online, ladies, so don't say anything bad about them.
Okay.
All right, so
Okay.
clerk's budget, take it away.
Well, do you have any questions? Is what it is. Our labor costs have increased significantly, as I'm sure many other county offices have. We had a difficult year in 2022. At one point in both offices, our staff was down by 30%. So we had an interesting year. One of the reasons that our pay was increased was because we were having such difficulty attracting qualified applicants. We are fully staffed in both offices and very happy with the individuals we have hired in both offices. They seem to be working out very well.
Question I had was on 2021, the column for that, it says estimated.
Yeah, it should be actual, right?
These are the actual numbers. I assume the label just didn't get changed.
Yeah, you're
Question I had, actually, it might be estimated though, and the only reason why I say that is you have down here for fees, $450,000 in the 2021 column.
Mhm.
And the actual was actually 432,216.
Again, it's just an estimate. I average prior years, and that is really reduced from what I had been estimating because our civil caseload is down so much.
Right, but I guess maybe I'm not making myself clear is it wasn't actually 450. I'm talking 2021. So that year is over.
Right.
And there are actual figures for that, which was $432,000. So my question would be then, are we confident that you're going to be at the 450 knowing actuals really don't get there?
I can certainly talk to Pat Dropsy about that and see where we're at for this year to see if I'm on target. Normally every quarter I look at our revenue and send you an email and tell you if we're on target or not. I don't think I've done that as much this year because I've been doing deputy clerk work. With the staff levels and legal, but I'm happy to look at that, Tony, and give you an answer.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not confident we're going
Okay.
to get to 450.
Yeah, and our
You're the clerk, you would know more than us.
civil caseload really is.
Right.
And in years, and it's that reflected across the state in other counties.
That's it right now. Your clerk fees are $377,547.
Okay. Yeah, we are not going to reach that then probably.
No,
And
I don't think so.
away, yeah. Yeah, our costs are increasing and our revenue is decreasing.
There's a pencil note on here on the dental insurance.
That's me.
Maybe too low.
Well, I get those figures from you guys, so. I'm not from you, but I have no idea what those actual costs are really. I mean, I think I can estimate PERS.
That was mine. No,
I'll have it here now.
I have a question, Helen, on the auto title budget. Fund 132, which is auto title, right?
134.
Okay, because you have the org number. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that would explain why I'm not finding it. Because I saw 130. That's better. Okay. Thank you. My eyes are terrible. Yeah, because it looks like on the auto title, it still says estimated, but those were actual figures.
I do have some actuals here from 2021. You want them?
Sure. Either or.
Yeah, I had a couple follow-up questions that seemed 21. There's an awful lot of them that are round numbers. That just doesn't seem right.
I didn't
Basic-
change the 21 to actuals on the budget this year. Sorry.
So what she's
Okay.
saying is she
I'm gonna make a copy for you guys.
21 instead for actual. Are you stating that when we turn our budget, you would like to see the actuals for prior years? Because in the past, we always got those from the commissioner's office. So if you want to see actual, we can do that.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay.
Once the year is completed. I mean, obviously you can't have it for 22.
Right.
Right.
21, you've got the final figures. If you could put the actuals.
Mhm. I did it last year. I
You
just
do that
didn't do
in
it
the
this year.
future.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have for 19 and 20,
Mhm.
Okay.
21.
Mhm.
How short your full staff at both places now?
We still have one on probation. He's doing well.
As we do. In the past, I used to transfer $80,000 every year from auto title people, make up a revenue loss if we weren't meeting our estimate. But that seems to be something you haven't asked us to do. Is that something you would like?
We never turn down transfers into help with revenue, right, Andrew?
I'm willing to do that. But in past years, we've been told, no, we don't need to do that. Don't make that transfer. So
Who told you that?
It was for salaries and you were never short for like
Right,
3 years. So we
right.
quit doing it.
I think maybe I should include that.
Find any resistance.
Yeah, everything, Helen, your budgets are amazing as always. The only other question I had is in looking at your personal service schedule. You initially had a part-time person, Coleman Lacer, and it looks like she's full-time now.
She was never part-time. Are you seeing?
I thought I saw in previous budgets, she wasn't listed under,
You don't have any part-time employees.
there's no more, hold on a second. I thought I saw in the old budget you had pull up 2022 here. That's why I wanted to make sure I was understanding that properly, hence my question. Auto title. Here we go. So last year you had. Okay, you also had her acting as a supervisor,
Yes.
so she got an additional stipend.
Well, that's just me estimating what we might use. When we use her, she gets $3.50 more per hour.
So my question is then, will you have someone else do that similarly, or is that gone away now? So she's full, there's not gonna be a backfill on that?
Considered our backup. It's
Okay.
the titled position.
Okay, that answers my question.
Yep.
I don't have anything for you guys.
I don't need, and,
I would like to state that even though our revenue in legal is down, we watch our expenses so much. We haven't changed our equipment line item request in 3 years. I mean,
We'll just take it out of your new office. We'll prorate whatever that amount is, and maybe you'll get like 3 less chairs or something.
so you can take it out of their budget. I didn't ask to move and I'm never gonna quit saying that.
Didn't turn down the move.
Well, if a push comes to shove, who think's gonna win that argument, me or the court?
You,
No, I'm
Robinson and Normal.
not.
Al, Carl, any questions?
In keeping with the fact we're talking to the clerk of courts, I will simply say, further affiant saith not.
Very good.
Al, you got anything clever to beat that?
No.
All
I'm
right,
just trying to
lady.
survive 6 inches of snow.
Oh, walk it off. You ain't Buffalo. All right, ladies.
Thank you.
You. All right, we'll move.
Josh, and then Josh will be bringing you up another layout that
Good. Yeah.
improved over the last one.
All right, we'll move on to our logistical items. Motion to certify the record of proceedings for November 15th, 2022. Yes.
Yes,
Commissioner Banks,
Motion to approve requisitions.
so moved. Second,
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
yes,
Okay, we have an add-on to weekly transfers and appropriations. We have a transfer request from the dog warden to pay for dog tags. So just want to note that for the public record. Motion to approve weekly transfers and appropriations.
So moved.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears, Commissioner Banks,
yes,
Motion to authorize Children's Services to spend public funds on meetings for calendar year 2023. They do so for hosting meetings, foster parent training, adoption training. So this is an annual resolution.
So moved.
second,
Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
And last but not least, motion to approve a utility permit for AEP to do work on Mock Road.
So moved.
second,
Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
yes.
All right, Al, Carl, anything until we come back at 10?
Nothing for me.
Al?
No, nothing from me.
Further business, we will recess until 10.
Just in case you forgot.
Just in case. Okay, 10 o'clock, back in session, joined by our directors of our Board of Elections. Al and Carl, you're probably not used to this of the Board of Election because Paulette did such a great job, but Matt has a new submission with some minor changes. Matt, would you like to go over those for the ultimate transparency in public finances?
Absolutely. So the biggest change was a miscalculation on the OPERS amount. So back on the last page, you'll see the change by just a little under 50 based on the salaries that was requested. That took the total expenses on the front page to 1,009,5575. That was really the biggest change as far as the request goes.
So do we think we'll be at 142.5 next year in poll worker pay since there isn't a special election? We'll hit 142.
It cost, I mean, I think our poll worker pay this time was right around 67,000. And we do pay some of the early vote seasonal employees out of that. But I think the poll worker submission this time was right around 64,000 for this election.
You know how many people voted early, roughly?
It was right around 15,000, so almost 20%. Just
Only once, right? They only voted early and once.
That's coming.
I'll let you answer how I'll answer there.
How many days of early voting do we have?
9.
So you had about,
From October 12th to November 7th.
that, and you said you had about
20%.
20%. Head down to just 2 weeks, it wouldn't be that enormous amount, would it?
Well, that's up to the state.
Well, I realize, I
Yeah.
realize that, yeah. I just,
I mean, a good portion of our in-person voting that last week,
Uh-huh.
almost probably half thing there.
This election, it was half. You know,
It really picks
next
up that
week-
last week and that last weekend especially.
Next year will be a different tune.
When we opened on Sunday before the election, we did 94 voters in the first 20 minutes. I mean, they were lined down the hall and pushing them through.
well, you have a lot of booths set up. And
They were all full that day. Actually, we were holding people back till they opened up to let them in.
I'm a big proponent, as we do in Ohio, you have to have an ID. I can only think of one reason why you wouldn't support that, so we're glad that the Republicans and the Democrats can agree on at least one thing.
Yeah.
In Ohio.
All right, so just quick question, I'm trying to match. So I also got this second personal service schedule.
Yeah, I'm not real sure why we do.
Yeah, so is that out?
Yeah, we're
Matt, the totals don't match.
discontinuing now. One.
Okay,
Going off the first one in the back of your packet here with the yellow.
Okay.
On it.
that answers because the totals didn't match and
I don't know why
um,
the schedule's turned in.
so I'm just trying to follow head counts. You guys having a retirement in 2023?
Have a
You
retirement?
have money in there for a buyout. So if someone retires,
No, the buyout,
is that just for, that's for everything?
that's for, yeah, so our board allows employees to be bought out because sometimes it's hard to use comp time and vacation that's accrued from the employees. It's not unusual to have. I mean, Jane and I had 100+ hours of comp, just this election season, same with all the employees. So it's hard to, especially when you have 3 elections in a year, it's hard to use even just a vacation they accrue. That has to do with buyouts, not necessarily a retirement buyout.
So if I'm-
Jane isn't leaving yet.
Uh-huh.
If I'm looking at this, you guys have in for your 2023 budget like 7 full-time employees and 1 part-time, and I'm excluding all the poll workers and
No,
I'm just talking about staff.
No, we have six. Well, right now we have five.
I show you two,
Mhm.
an election specialist.
Carrie,
I show one,
Daniel,
two, three,
and John is our five full times at this point in time. There is someone that we're looking at that is filled in as a part-time that we might hire full-time. That's why you see the new hire line in there. And then, you know, as far as part-timers, I mean, it depends on obviously in election season, we have quite a few seasonal part-timers. One thing I will mention is, you know, we are trying to get our part-timers wage up a little bit. So we are proposing 11.75 to 12.75, depending on how many elections they've worked. They were at 10.75 to 11.75. Our part-timers are very valuable. Obviously, when we need them, they're always there to come in. In May or August, I think it was in May, we had two of our full-timers that were out sick.
Mhm.
So we were down to me, Jane, and John. And our part-timers stepped up, came in at the, drop of a hat when we needed them. They really, and they always do that. We're lucky to have the part-timers we have for making $11 an hour. So we did.
three, that's pretty low.
So we did ask for a $1 an hour raise on the part-timers. All the full-timers is pretty much a 3%.
So Diana Naumoff has a star by her name and she's not included in 2023.
Correct. She has retired.
She has retired.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, if I were married to Phil Nomoff, I'd want to be far, far away as well.
That way she can go live in. the
Right,
house.
that's right. She can, while he's upstairs, she can go far, far away from him. That's smart by her. I don't have any more questions on the general fund side. Guys,
Nope.
how about the non-general fund side?
I mean, we didn't request a whole lot there. It's obviously down. We requested 50,000. Equipment, it's kind of unknown. There's some different things that we're looking at with the EPs to make them a little more improved. We don't have any major purchase that we foresee coming in 23.
How's that fancy new website you guys got working out?
I like it. You guys tell us if you,
I like it.
I'm sure you've used it.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think?
A lot of stuff on
I
it.
gotta make sure you're voting in Republican primaries, so I check after every primary. I got nothing more.
Neither.
Wyatt, Doc, you guys got any questions?
I just want to say thanks to both of you for a good election season, and next year's going to get busy.
Yes,
Yes,
it will.
it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm awfully glad that you guys get done counting in a night. And I think we're still waiting on some states to finish. So God bless.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't quite understand that, but
Yeah, makes you scratch your head.
All right.
I know it's never quick enough for Tony, 7:31, he's wanting the results.
It's tradition, 7:31, where are the results? Polls are
I
closed.
know.
Department you run it well.
Yeah, our elections are great.
I remember going there when there was a power outage and you still had people coming in doing things by hand.
Thank you. Yeah, we do.
Down in-
It's like I said, our seasonal and part-timers they're amazing. Top of the line.
Even McGinty?
He's
I'd say,
not really even a
right, yeah, he's,
timer, but
all right. Seeing no further questions, we will recess until 10:30. All right, like the Jet Express, we remain on time, joined by America's engineer, Adam Gove. Adam, just so you know, the media is on, so don't say anything bad about them. Oh, just you're forewarned, they're watching you and writing down everything you say as you do a wonderful job maintaining the roads and bridges in Richland County, so take it away.
The general fund items first, I would assume. Pretty straightforward. The tax map office. There is increase in the salary line item. We did add a full-time position. Middle of this year, I think is the started full-time in or end of June or very beginning of July. That's the increase in salaries there. Other one was equipment. We'd like to purchase new chairs, new office chairs for that department.
What?
So that's the only other item
How
that's,
many chairs is that?
it'd be 3 chairs,
$2,400?
possibly. I don't know if you've looked at,
Chairs are expensive.
Well, we were just talking about that.
Just talking about chairs, but
Andrew got one for $400.
yours have like GPS on it or what?
what's that?
Yours have GPS on it? Massage your feet? I mean, what, $800 a chair?
Massage.
Feet, oh yes. Seated hand warmers here, I take it?
That's just in case. I
I
can
said 6 chairs,
Three.
$2,400.
The
I'm
next,
not saying it's going to cost that much.
Car, you get a used car with that or something?
Carl's gonna apply and come work in the public sector.
I sold,
Yeah, they have better chairs.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, be nice to Adam. He got denied a bunch of money from regional planning yesterday, so he might need to use that
Ouch.
share money for the
OPWC?
Rock Line Bridge.
Would you get denied?
thank you, Carl. Yes.
Denied.
Right.
Not denied by regional planning, OPWC,
That's what I said. You didn't get your OPWC. report?
not both of them. Got one.
I think Tom Beck never got denied one time, right?
I don't know.
Only
if it's-
got- He only got denied by the unions.
Ditch fund, no real,
Wait, I would like to go back to tax map though. I see that you have in there for a full-time drafts, it's a seasonal, right? But you have it in for 40 hours a season. It was 24 hours not that long ago in 2021. So are you bumping up you want a full-time seasonal person?
possibly, if we can find one. That's,
Chairs, 4 hours.
That's
Never plows.
400 hours. 10 weeks,
correct. It'd be a
10 weeks.
kind of a summer position.
One thing, all right, what's the way? We were just doing tax map. I'm sorry, I do have a question further on. So where would you like to go next?
You good with tax map? then?
Yeah.
We'll can go to the ditch fund,
Sure.
general fund item.
Can I make a comment about your spreadsheets in general?
Yes.
The only person that puts the most recent on the left.
Yeah, I know. Up with that.
Everybody else has one on the page.
I'm left-handed. I don't know. I don't know. I can definitely switch those around. No real big change there. I believe we are doing a 3% wage increase. That's really the only change on. Any questions on the two general fund? Okay. Moving to the auto license and gas tax fund 136. The only really item that's a big increase would be fuel costs. See there in 21, we spent about 190,000 on fuel. This year, we're I budgeted 330. Actually, probably going to go a little above that. I've asked for an additional encumbrance here.
You just had the $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're looking at probably 340. Bumping that up again because that was,
You can buy electric in a couple years.
Yep.
Electric snowplow.
hopefully they go the full range. Bumping that up to 400,000 this year.
So Adam, I think I know the answer, but I just want to make sure, because you're smarter than I am. Couple things that stuck out though, and I think the answer's obviously health insurance and inflation related, but I do know there's an 11% increase on the total expenses, 6.1 to 7 mil. And I also noticed as a result of that though, I always like to look at cash balances, good and bad, right? If you're sitting on 300% of a cash balance, a taxpayer may say, why do you have so much money? Firstly, if you have no cash balance, a taxpayer may say, why aren't you saving in case of emergencies, right?
Correct.
No different than our personal finances, how businesses run money, et cetera.
Yep.
I do notice with your budget submission, right, wrong, or indifferent, your carryover, or some people call it the unassigned cash balance, is going from 43% to 28%. So that's a 15% reduction. So that's even steeper than the 11% increase in expenses. So am I looking at that right? Would inflation be the reason for that? Not to saying 28% is horrible. I'm just curious if you're comfortable with that.
I am comfortable with 28%. I mean, that's 1.7 million carryover. I know in the past we've been down under $1 million of carryover. It is partially inflationary. Obviously, fuel costs going up. Our parts are also going up. Repairs and maintenance on our trucks. We also have a number of projects, large projects coming up. Take design. I know we get a lot of those covered mostly by grants, but there's still the local share. And when you're talking about several $1 million worth of projects, your local share starts to add up. So I think it's just a balancing act, and that number, total expenses, that includes hopefully a worst case scenario. But I don't remember exactly what I submitted last year, but I believe we're under submission from this year.
I
So
want to make sure you're okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm good on that part. You?
Yes, I'm fine.
You want to do road and bridges?
Sure. Road and bridge budget, this goes directly towards anything road related. Capital improvements basically has to go to resurfacing materials for resurfacing for bridge repairs or replacements, signs, guardrail, that type of work. No real big change other than, again, as I said, we have several large projects coming up. Some that didn't get completed this year that will fall into next year's budget now. So the construction contracts jumped from approximately 850,000 to 1.5 million. That is taking into consideration a part of a resurfacing project that did not get completed this year and a bridge replacement project that did not get completed this year.
It's almost double from 2 years ago, over double from 2 years ago.
Correct. Yep. And again, I mean, I'm still comfortable with that $800,000 carryover. Rather see our funds go into projects, work on the ground, bridge replacements, resurfacing projects to improve our roads than to sit just carrying over.
Somewhere you had to reduce the length of the paving project.
Yeah, so our chip and seal this year, I think originally was about 20 miles planned, and we only performed 9.5 miles. So there's some of that work that needs to get caught up. There was part of a resurfacing project that's out that is in a contract that due to weather conditions could not be completed this year. That will fall to the spring. And then a bridge project that we bid kind of early summer that we were hoping to get completed this year. But we gave the contractor enough time in the contract to get it completed next spring. And because of some issues of them getting some of those materials, they decided to wait to start that project.
Same question as I asked previously. You show a 39% reduction in your carryover, which takes you under $1 million. You okay with that?
I am okay with that. Yes.
Anything else there?
Not me.
Good.
Anything in the horse-drawn vehicle fund? And if you could inform the media in case they don't know, what do you use that money for?
So that is allowed by our revised code. We have about 4, possibly 5 groups of Amish and Mennonite that donate funds to the county for roads and bridges. That's to be used or carried over until it's accumulated enough to be used on roads in areas where there's horse-drawn vehicles.
That is a common complaint we get from township trustees.
Yes, yeah.
I don't ever like answering this question, but I said that's always a question you have for your state legislators. Yeah, I hear that when I go up to some of the meetings, or particularly in the northern part of the county, trustees get frustrated, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
The roads get beat up from the buggies.
So this year we did not expend any funds from that line item. In 21, we did use 35,000 of that to go towards a project we did on Free Road up in the northern part of the county.
Doesn't look like the repairs were free, does it?
They're not. Next year we will, now that we have a carryover of approximately $32,000, we will plan on moving 30,000 of that into our road and bridge fund and expend it on, again, those roads in those areas that have horse-drawn vehicles.
Voluntarily contribute to this.
Correct. Yeah. So
We're not expecting them to contribute as much this year as, or next year as this year.
I don't know. It's a conservative estimate based on the last several years of donations. I believe we just received one, so that 19,000 may be even a little bit more than what I have shown here. So we may be up into the $20,000 range of donations received this year.
How do they do that? Do they get together in a meeting hall and decide?
I would imagine there's a collection of some sort, and they decide what it's going for and send us a letter and a check, and we put it into that fund.
Okay. Anything on Vermillion?
Nothing there.
The hefty fund there.
Yep. And McKinney Ditch, again, not too much there. This is revenue received assessments in subdivisions that have ponds for maintenance. Not a whole lot happens there. There's usually some mowing. Every several years, there may be large ticket items to make repairs on, but I'm not expecting any of those here in the next year.
I got nothing else, you guys.
I'm good.
Carl, Al,
Do the Amish have to contribute more if they don't have lights on their buggies under the new state law?
No. Maybe if they pay their fines, Carl, I don't know.
All right. I don't think we've got that issue here yet. So that's good. Thanks.
I was driving down to Highland to the football game in Richland County, but there were several buggies that really had big light behind them. And I'm so glad they did, because I wasn't driving. The guy driving faster than I would have done. You see him when the lights, and then then we went to the game up at Elyria Catholic, and up there I didn't realize how many Amish, Mennonite, whatever they are, near the city of Elyria, and some of them didn't have lights. Makes a difference.
It gets dark early now.
Yeah.
Al, any questions?
Yeah, Adam, what are some of your major projects for next year?
We've got a bridge that we just awarded a contract on for Smiley Avenue. It's unfortunately inside the city of Shelby, so it's not really a county project, but it is our bridge to maintain. We will have a large bridge on Kreider Road over the Black Fork that's coming up for bid next year. So we're looking at probably around possibly seven to eight bridge replacements next year. 18 miles of cold and hot mix asphalt resurfacing, approximately 25 miles of chip and seal work, along with our usual pavement markings, guardrail, and any sign upgrades that are necessary. That's kind of what's on the agenda for next year.
Where do you anticipate costs going for some of your asphaltic materials? Do you see right now it seems like prices are kind of holding steady. Where do you see them going?
I don't like to jinx myself, Al, so I don't really know for sure. I'm hoping they're leveling off, but
Questions over with, don't.
but I guess we will just have to kind of wait and see as we go through our bidding processes here in the next year.
Okay, when you talk about your ditch fund, is that your normal ditch cleaning work or is that the Black Fork or?
No, that's not the Black Fork. That's just our typical ditch fund that we have every year.
Yeah, that's all the questions I had.
Hey, seeing no further business, we recess till 11.
Thank you.
Earl.
I didn't hear that.
All right. We move on. Acting Director Sarah Potes and EMA. Here to talk EMA budget. Sarah?
Okay, well, most of our budget, I think, is not too much different than last year. The biggest things that are needing to be addressed this coming year or the year after are our laptops. We have 7 laptops in the EOC that will be obsolete at the end of 2024. We replaced 2 laptops this year, but we only have 2 laptops. That's kind of a big deal if there's an emergency. So
That was gonna be my question, because I noticed you have the equipment increase and you have technology updates. So is that what's driving that?
yes, and most of this budget done before Joe left. So they were mostly based upon his recommendations, and I just did a few little tweaks after he left. But the biggest thing for the technology updates is the laptops.
That's the $5,000.
Yes. And then we did ask for a little more money on the siren updates, but that's just a drop in the bucket. So I don't even know what all you want me to talk about with the sirens, because Commissioner Mears and I have had conversations, and some of it I think we're kind of waiting to talk about with director. But as for the maintenance to the sirens, this is just the maintenance, not even the upgrades. For the radios, we're looking at approximately, I think it was around $40,000 just for the maintenance, repairs and new batteries. You wanted me to even talk about the upgrades or not?
Probably not. I mean, we're gonna wait till the new director comes in and work with her and decide what direction we're gonna take. We've got more research to do on that. But yeah, the estimates range from 1031
Yes,
to the 40,000.
yes. Yeah, the
Not
40,000,
including the change from
right.
VHF to.
Yes, that's not even including the upgrades, but it was around 10 or 11,000 were just to fix the sirens that aren't working right now at all. Another 30,000 were for some other maintenance things that we're needing to the other sirens, including new batteries. But those ones are all currently operational as far as we know. So 10,000 is the bare minimum at this time for the sirens.
That'll be something the new director definitely has to.
Yes, and that was after we got this after the final budget was submitted, that we found out those figures.
I don't think it would have been the right thing to do to plan on what we're gonna do.
Well, yes, that was also all up in the air. And we also have, in our carryover for our equipment, we have a little more money in there right now is because there is $2,500 that was approved last year for new carpet in my office and for the director's office. That was never done for whatever reason. So once the new director comes in, if they would like to get new carpet in their office, they're welcome to do so. I don't really care if the carpet is replaced in my office or not, but that's one reason why we have some more money. And one other thing about equipment I wanted to mention was our generators. We did have 4 of our generators serviced and some repairs done. However, they were not able to fix one of those. So we only have 3 generators now because they couldn't get the parts. And honestly, we could get a new generator for $1,000 probably, and it was going to cost $1,700 to fix it, but then they weren't even able to get the part. So I guess it's kind of a back and forth thing of whether we need to get another generator or not, because the CERT team told me they've only used the generators a handful of times over the past 5 years or so. But this summer we did use the generators when the power was out in June. So Other than that, I really don't have anything I think to talk about. Everything else is pretty much the same as last year. Of course, the salary and health insurance premiums have gone up. Uniforms, Joe had that amount down for $650. I don't know if we need $650 because I don't need any more shirts. The new director, I'm sure, would like to get a few, but that's probably a little high. Other than that, again, I don't think I really have much.
Is your LEPC fund number correct? Are we sure it's 160?
Well, you know how you told me that the general fund was 001 and not 120? Well,
It's 120.
001.
right.
So what's the LEPC fund number actually? I don't think it's 160.
These are what I always thought they were because that's what Sue had on everything.
60s.
So if it's not right,
Okay.
that's what was on everything when I got there.
Let's get the fund number. I mean, the math is right, but that fund number is not right.
All right.
What is it, Stacy?
How do I find that out?
Going to Munis. Let me also do a search here.
I'm looking. See if I can.
I might just do, would it be under LEPC?
Community right to know. It's either under LEPC or community right to know.
Community right to know is 160, 120.
So that is it, but I don't think that's right. Those numbers aren't matching up.
But the general fund is 001 for sure then. We're not sure about.
General fund 001, but your specific would be the 0120.
That's your org. Remember so you have, the way you look at it in the public structure is your fund, meaning what fund are all these monies coming out of? And then the org is the specific department within the fund. So it gets a little more specific. And then your object are the actual individual expenses.
Line item.
So the general fund number is 001. Your org will be 0120000.
Right.
That's how we identify EMA within the general fund.
So your training experience, like that bad day training. Okay,
Yes,
that LEPC.
yes.
Okay, then that is 160. That's the community
And those numbers aren't matching up.
numbers.
So if I look at the end of 2021 cash balance, I show 31,44432. This has 58,30651. Can you please get with Stacy or review that in Munis
Yes.
and resubmit it? I show your current cash balances, but again, another 33,000. I also don't show object numbers on the revenue side associated with 494. There it is. There's state fund 520. So that's good. But then that's all I see. I don't see. You have it all. Okay. You have it all under the 494, 520. I showed 2021, it was 26,971, which is right. Like I said, the math seems to be okay there.
26,971.
Yeah, it's broken down. I see. So that's right. The math works out. But the unencumbered, the carryover is not correct.
Okay. I will figure that out and send it back to Stacy.
Yeah, your revenue's right. It's not a huge fund, but I'd like to have the numbers accurate.
I understand. I will figure it out.
They submit the LEPC. I'd appreciate that.
I will do that.
I don't have any questions. Al, Carl,
The L's on.
Al,
No, I don't have any.
okay. Seeing no further business right now, we will recess until 1 o'clock.